Welcome to the Data Hall YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to look into the Putdocx command, and as in our previous two videos, we were discussing the Putexcel command, which transferred the data or some results from Stata into Excel. So in this command, we are going to transfer data rather than in Excel, but to an MS document file. So let me just set my working directory. So you can set your working directory by clicking on File and then change the working directory. This is important because whichever file we would save, it would be saved into our working directory. So remember, you can find whichever working directory you have in the top bottom left corner of Stata window. So my current working directory is this one. So I do not need to set, but anyways. So there are a couple of commands that would all start with Putdocx. So we have Putdocx begin to start the document. We have Putdocx paragraph. We have Putdocx text, Putdocx save. Then we have Putdocx image, right? So you can export image. This is where we have it. We have Putdocx table. So we can pretty much any command starting with the Putdocx. Okay. So what do? Is we start with the Putdocx begin. It begins the document. It doesn't create a document in our hard drive. It just creates an environment within Stata. So whatever we, so for us to send any material to a document, an MS Word document, we would have to begin that document. So we start with Putdocx begin. There's no need to give anything else, just Putdocx begin. And it starts an MS file. So you can see that nothing had happened. Nothing had happened in the variable window or any other window, or even in my my folder. The only thing that happened is that environment had been set for us. So there are multiple options that we can do. We can set page size, like we can have comma and add page size. We can either have a landscape or a portrait size. We can set margins, right? So this is how it would work. We have margins left, that would be 1. Margins for right, that would again be 1. And instead of the default, we need a landscape document. So we can have pretty much other options as well. If you do Putdocx begin, you would find different options that can work with Putdocx. So we can have page size, landscape, etc., etc. Okay. So once we have started a document, we can let's add some text. So this is the basic commands. Remember to add any text or do any additions to a document. We would start it with a paragraph. Now, what is paragraph from the perspective of MS Word? Now, this is our MS document, right? So for MS Word, a paragraph is not necessarily containing multiple lines. It is whenever we press an enter, it would become a paragraph. So this is a paragraph. This enter sign is a paragraph. If we write just an alphabet and press enter, then this whole becomes a paragraph, right? So for MS Word, paragraph is whenever we press an enter. So we are going to first set a paragraph. So this would be a whole block where Stata would put text or whatever material we want. Then we can give it any style. So this, in this case, because our document is a new one, so we would want it to have a whole heading, right? About what this document is related to. So this again would not do anything but just create an environment. Next, we need to put a text within this paragraph. So our style had already been set. We just need to input the text. So let's call it Putdocx text. This is the command, right? And then we do we enter the text that we want. The text would go into parentheses within inverted commas. So if I execute the command, again the document would not be created. It would save it into its own environment. The document would only be created when we save that document. So let's add some more text. We again want to have a Putdocx paragraph. This would again be a new paragraph because I just told you this line becomes our heading, let's just say, right, or our title of the document. Then we press enter when we have a heading. So this heading is a new paragraph, right? So we need to have a Putdocx paragraph. Let's set its styles to heading 1. We can have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heading 1 is the top level heading and heading 2 is obviously the subset of heading 1. So let's have this heading. So we put the text, the paragraph command. Then again, we have a Putdocx paragraph, but this time we are not going to give it any style. So this would be our simple text paragraph. So I'm going to use 2 commands just to demonstrate a point. So what I did is I used Putdocx text and enter in this text over here. In this tutorial, we are going to learn Putdocx command, and then the remaining sentence is in new Putdocx text command, space, and its different aspects, example, image, paragraph, etc. So from our perspective, these 2 are different command lines. So these 2 should be different lines in MS Word, and that is not going to happen. Let me just save this. How do you save? We write Putdocx, save, then name of the file. This thing is optional. I just gave it because let's just say if I only had a file by the name of reports, so this would delete that already saved file in my hard drive and replace it with this new file. Okay, so this file had been created. We can either click over here or we can go and open it from here. So I guess I didn't execute these commands, so I need to execute them and then save them, but that would give so there was a slight error. So I just going to rerun all these commands, right, because I forgot to execute these commands. So let's rerun, and we have a fresh copy of the reports file, and now we can see we have Putdocx command tutorial, which is coming from the title. Then we have a heading 1, which is the paragraph command. Then we have text, and although from our perspective these are 2 different lines, but from MS Word or Putdocx perspective this is 1 line, and you can see commands end over here and starts on the same line because we just had 1 paragraph. So if you want them to be on different lines, remember I told you that we need to press enter. So this enter becomes a paragraph for Stata or for MS Word. Okay, so let's close this file, because if we want to perform certain operations on this file, then we need to close this file. If the file is open, then we cannot resave it. Okay, so so whenever we do Putdocx save, remember the document is closed, right? So I just closed the document. So if I needed to again do something, I would again have to do Putdocx begin, right? So let's say I want to again add some more text to this same report file. For that, again, I would have to do Putdocx begin. This time, let's, instead of using text, let's use Putdocx Textblock. So as compared to Putdocx text, we need a paragraph container, right? But for Putdocx Textblock, we do not need that. Putdocx Textblock begin and Putdocx Textblock end. It is quite easy way of writing a huge block of text. So we do not need any inverted commas or something like that. We just need to enter the text and that would go. Again, although these appear on the different lines, but from this status perspective, they are similar lines. So let's execute these. And instead of this time replacing the report file, I'm going to append it. So whatever these command would do, it would be appended to the previous file. Okay, so let's execute them. and let me show you how the report would look like. So we have this, write whatever text. This line will also be on the same paragraph, although it appeared on a different one. For that, we would have to do another text block. Okay. Let's do some summary statistics. So let me import these auto data. So in auto data, we have different variables. And what I want to do is run certain descriptive statistics and embed those statistics within our paragraphs. So let's again open a new Putdocx environment. Let's start a paragraph with the style heading 1. Let's call it descriptive statistics of auto data. Now we are simply going to summarize our price variable. So this is nothing new. We can generate the mean, standard deviation, etc. of any variable using summarize command. So we know its number of observations and its mean. And if you want to access these values, how these values are stored, then we have a video related to this, which I would give the link in the description. I have explained that we can use return list command to access those variables. So this number of observations is stored in Rn. This mean is stored in Rmean, and so on and so forth. This is the status way of storing data from any statistics. So let's start a paragraph, and this time what I want to do is we want to add some text, and within text we want to refer to these values. So these would become dynamic, and whenever someone would change the data set, these values would change by itself. So there are total number of n observations. So this would become, so remember how do we represent local or global macros? There is again a video on that by the name of local and global macros. I would again give that link in the description. So we are referring to this thing. Observations in our data set, and the mean price of car is mean. So instead of writing this, it would write whatever the value is stored in this macro. So let's execute this and save the report and append it into current report. Let's open that report, and you can see there are 74 observations. So we didn't wrote the number 74, we just wrote the variable where the number would be saved, and it extracted that number from the variable. And then we are having this mean value, but it seems quite not right because we are getting multiple digits after decimal point. We would want to restrict them. So we want to restrict the decimal points. So let's again, because we saved, we would have to begin a Putdocx environment. Let's again open a paragraph. This time this is the same text. The only difference is I have taken this out of this paragraph text and separated it. So now we can change its format. So we have changed its format to 2 decimal points, and then the full stop would have its own line of Putdocx text command. Let's save these, and you would notice that the only thing that I wanted to do is change the numbering format. You cannot add this option with over here and change the numbering format. We would have to separate the number out of text and then perform this format. So this is the same text except that we now have 2 decimal digits. Okay. You can also add page breaks or section breaks, and they are interesting because we can we can open a new page or a new section. So let's say I want to add a graph, and this time I want to add this graph on a new page. So I would use Putdocx page break. Section breaks are different than page breaks. Section breaks do have their own page numbering, their own style of page, etc. But page breaks are simply having a new page. So I did page break, and let's create a bar chart. So I'm just creating a bar chart of the mean prices over different types of cars, whether the cars are domestic or foreign. Now to take an image, to export an image to an MS Word file, This is the graph. We have domestic car and the foreign car and their mean price. We would first have to save this graph. We would have to export this graph using graph export and save it as a PNG or an image file. So I close that graph. I would have to rerun it and then save it, right? So this graph image had been saved. You can check this image over here. If we don't save the image, we would not be able to embed that into Putdocx. So let's create a paragraph. We can also change different aspects of the paragraph. So let's align it in center. So we want this image to be in center. Putdocx image, which would take the price PNG. This would be from our working directory. We can change its width or height if we want to. And we can save that. Again, we are going to append. So the original document would remain intact. Let's open this file. And you can see that we have a new page where we have this graph image, which the dimensions are the ones that we have set. Okay, so we can also do regressions. So let's again Putdocx begin, regress price on MPG and weight. So this Putdocx table command, which would take this table, let's give it a name of regression and take the values from each table and give it a title of regression results. Right, so it would take this title, this page, this table, and let's append it into the same report file. Let's open that. And you would see that this table would appear over here. Obviously, these commands are quite detailed commands. So if you do Putdocx table, you would have a help menu of its own, of a quite lengthy help menu. So this is just a video that would explore the Putdocx command. If you are interested in each of the separate commands, do let me know in the comment box below and I would have a video on them also. We can also add page number. So let's begin a document, Putdocx begin, and we have an option of footer where we would give a name to a footer. So this would just be a name of that footer, nothing else. So we do add a paragraph to footer, and which footer we want to refer to is the one that we just created. Now what do we want to enter into that footer? Remember, we want to add a text called page, and we have a space over here, right? And then we add Putdocx page number. This is a command of its own. Again, that would go over here after the space. Let's save it, but let's save it in new file, because you cannot append page number into already created file. For that, you'd have to use different approach. Currently, I am creating a new file. So this is an empty file, but we have a page number. So if I press create a new file, we can have these page numbers changing relevantly, right? Okay, so lastly, I'm going to merge different Word files. So I only have these two files, right? And let me create a replica of this report. Let's call it report 2, and let's call this one report 1. And let's do what? Let's let me remove the space between the report and 1, so we are inconsistent with our code. Okay, so we just do Putdocx append. This would append report 1, 2, and let's also add report 3, and we would save these in a new file called all parts. Remember, this would be the name of the new file. So it would not delete those report 1 and 2 and 3, just create a new file called all parts and append all the 3 files. Remember, these report 1 and 2, and then we have report 3, which was blank, so we do not have anything from that. So that's regarding Putexcel command. Do subscribe to this channel and do hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching the video.